Good evening, everyone. Welcome to College2Career Hospitality and Culinary Arts webinar. Just a reminder and some housekeeping items as we all join this session. You will have the opportunity to sign up for more sessions if you're interested through wacac.com. This recording will also be available after today. So if you're interested in exploring any other sessions that you might have missed, you will be able to find these recordings on the WCAC website after the program concludes. Your microphone and camera for today's session are going to be turned off, but you do have the Q&A button available if you want to ask questions for the panelists today. Make sure you use the Q&A button to ask any questions. At this time, I will let our panelists take it away and start our webinar this evening.
All right, so I do have a quick question because we don't have any attendees right now. Should I still go ahead and present since we're recording?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead and
okay.
Present just in case anyone comes in a little late.
For sure, for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you all. Give me 1 second. So there we go. You guys can see all my stuff. Okay, cool. So good evening, everybody. My name is Cassidy. I am a regional admissions counselor with the University of Houston. So I'm based in Los Angeles, California. I only work with out-of-state students. So if you have any questions about University of Houston and you are in California, I'm your person to talk to about those questions. So today I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of the University of Houston, and then I'm going to go into presenting our College of Hotel and Restaurant Management, and then I will leave some time at the end for some questions. So University of Houston, we are located in none other than Houston, Texas, which I hate to break it to you guys, Houston is not a college town. So Houston is a major hustle bustle city. It is actually the 4th largest city in the nation, and it is the most diverse city in the nation. And our institution is the 2nd most diverse college campus in the nation. So we're very proud of that. 51% of our student body were the first in their family to go to college. I would say that we are about moderately selective. So our average incoming GPA for freshmen is about a 3.65. So in terms of coming to the University of Houston, one of the things that I think is really cool are all of the opportunities that you have in a city like Houston. So about 80%, so the majority of people that live in the city of Houston are not from the city of Houston. So they're not native Houstonians. They come to Houston to pursue these different opportunities. And I'll gloss over these for a little bit, and then I'll speak to some things that I think a student interested in hotel or restaurant management or hospitality would be particularly interested in. So Houston is actually considered the #1 city for a student or a college student to start their career. So because of all of the opportunities in the city. So some examples of those are going to be the world's largest medical research center. So the Texas Medical Center is down the street from our campus. Our students have access to their research and their internship opportunities. 24 Fortune 500 companies are headquartered in downtown Houston. NASA is also headquartered in Houston. And then of course, Houston is like one of the food capitals of the world. It is a lot easier to start and run restaurants in a city like Houston compared to some of the larger cities like LA or New York, just because it's a little bit more accessible, the industry is. So it's a little bit cheaper. Real estate is, running a business just in general is a little bit less expensive in a city like Houston. But that being said, Houston is known to be one of the highest consumers of food in the nation. It has a very thriving restaurant scene. I love it. I love going out there and exploring all of the different restaurants, but we'll talk more about that in just a second. So we are a research institution. So we have over 16 academic colleges, over 120 different majors that you can choose from. I bring that up to say, because I know most of you guys are probably interested in hospitality, but if you were interested in perhaps minoring in something or double majoring in something, I think you have the right idea looking at schools that are not only limited to hotel and restaurant or hospitality. So at the University of Houston, some of our most popular majors are going to be architecture, our College of Engineering, of course, our Hilton College of Hotel and Restaurant Management, the medical sciences. We get a lot of kids wanting to pursue those fields. And then our political science department is also very well known. So in terms of our hotel and restaurant management program, it does bear the Hilton name. So it started in 1968. So we're just celebrating our 50-year anniversary with them. Started in 1968 with a donation from Conrad Hilton. And what you guys see on this slide is a picture of our Hilton that we have on campus. So when you drive into our campus through the main entrance, one of the first things that you're going to see is our College of Hotel and Restaurant Management, which is housed in this building that you're looking at. So to the left, that big tall building, that's like the actual hotel where the rooms are, and then kind of that little bottom piece, and then a little bit further to the right, which you can't really see in this picture, are all of their classrooms. So I do want to mention that their facilities are not just limited to a regular classroom. So in their classrooms, you have kitchens, fully equipped kitchens. You have a brewery down in the basement. You have people down there processing and making wine. You have a fully operating restaurant that is student-led and student-run. So, and then the hotel itself is actually 98% student staff. So that means 98% of the people that work in this hotel are students of the College of Hotel and Restaurant Management. So I bring that up to say, and just to kind of reiterate, that it's a really interesting and kind of cool opportunity, because your internship opportunities, your part-time job opportunities are all kind of tied together in this one space. And that is, I think, it makes it a little bit easier to navigate, and the resources are kind of all just there together. So I really love staying at this Hilton, and you can really tell that the students are really passionate about what they're doing. When you come to the Hilton, they're very hospitable, I guess I should say. So just to get a little bit more into the program. So the main program that they offer is their Bachelor's of Science in Hotel and Restaurant Management. So to give you a little insight into what exactly that means, it is a specialized, technically business degree that is not only limited to taking business and economic classes, and not only limited to taking hospitality-oriented classes. So it literally, you literally do what the name says, and you focus on the hospitality, the hotel piece, and then you also get that restaurant and that management background as well. So you're going to take classes from the subfields like accounting, economics, and law. You're going to take classes from the social sciences. You're also going to take classes, marketing classes, that are specifically designed for students that are interested in the hospitality industry. And then you're also going to take classes from the areas of human resources and communications. So it is a unique degree for a unique student. So you might be wondering, what kind of jobs do your graduates typically get? So of course, we have graduates that are going into hotels and going into restaurants and starting, at management level positions. And then from there, they kind of work their way up. So a lot of students are going to like major hotel chains like Marriott, Hilton, and places like that, and then kind of working their way up within those companies. Some are going to large restaurant groups like the Landry Group. The owner, the CEO of the Landry Group, is a graduate of UH, and he's donated a ton of money to many different areas in our institution. So you have a lot of really cool opportunities that are just kind of built into the program itself. So that being said, it doesn't have to be limited to hotel and restaurant management in terms of what your career path could be. You could go into event planning, and event planning could be anything from like planning weddings to planning large political events to planning large music festivals. So to put that into perspective, there are a ton of different areas and moving parts that go into planning like large scale events like that. And a program like our hotel and restaurant management program will prepare you well to go into that field. So they also have a really neat program that'll allow you to earn your bachelor's and your master's in hotel and restaurant management. So that's a dual program. It'll take you 5 years. So you'll spend your first 4 years really focusing on getting the hotel and restaurant management degree. And then in that last year is when you're going to kind of specialize in a particular area of the industry. And then that is when you're going to get your master's, your MS, Master's of Science in Hotel and Restaurant Management. So some of the areas that you can focus on are food and beverage. So they have a pathway for folks that are interested in the wine industry. They also have a pathway for folks that are interested in the beer industry. We have a brewery on campus. We have people down there making wine. So really cool opportunities. And then of course you can also focus on the management aspect, and then they have a pathway. You can do like general management, and then they also have a pathway that is more geared toward the global hospitality market. So another really cool thing and resource that they have in hotel and restaurant management is their career planning office. So this is one of our 3 academic colleges that actually has their own career planning services. So whereas the other students from the other majors only really have access to the general career service office that all of the students at the university are using, which is it's a great resource, but you also have that extra bit of support in HRM because they have their own career planning office. So they do things, some of their programming looks like career fairs, they host alumni chats, they have different kinds of professional development workshops, they host internship fairs, and they also host business and professional etiquette training. So I actually, before this presentation, just logged on to their calendar to see kind of what they were up to in terms of virtual programming, and every single one of these things they have kind of adapted and figured out a way to offer virtually. So built into your education and your curriculum in HRM is going to be that component of planning out the next chapter after you finish University of Houston. And then I should mention, I don't have a slide about this, but our College of Hotel and Restaurant Management also has a doctorate program. So we're one of very few doctorate programs in HRM. Columbia University, I believe, is another school that has one, but you might be wondering, what on earth would I do with a PhD in hospitality management? So typically speaking, you're going to be somebody that's interested in teaching hospitality and restaurant management and going into like research and doing research into the hospitality industry. And then from there, either, just staying limited to research or doing research and teaching like at the university level. So those are some of the opportunities that exist in our College of Hotel and Restaurant Management. And now I do want to go over our admissions process for HRM, just because things have changed. So we will not be requiring test scores for any of our academic colleges on campus. HRM is included. So the way that they're going to be handling things, handle things this year is that they're going to look at your class rank, and then from there, if you meet these certain GPA requirements that they have posted, you may or may not qualify for assured admissions. So what assured admissions means is that you are literally guaranteed a spot in our freshman class if you meet these requirements that are posted. So the way that this will work, if you're in the top 10%, we will not look at anything else on your transcript. We'll say, awesome, you're assured a spot in our freshman class. If you're in the top 11 to 25% and you have a 3.4 or higher, then you will be guaranteed a spot in our freshman class. And then if you have below a 3.4% or 3.4 GPA, and you're in the top 11 to 25%, then you'll go into our individual review process. So what that is, it's a holistic review process where we will look at your we'll look at your 2 letters of recommendation, a resume, and then a personal statement. And then, of course, if you're in the top 26 to 50%, we would look for a 3.45 or higher to qualify for assured admissions. And then if you're below that 3.45 within that rank range in your high school, then you'll go into our individual review process where we look at your application a little bit more holistically. And then, of course, if you're in the bottom half of your class or 51% or below, then you will also be looked at a little bit more holistically. So the last thing that I will tell you guys about is the affordability of our school. So we are a research institution. We're a major tier 1 research institution. However, we are a little bit more affordable than other research institutions. And I think the benefit of going to a research institution for a student interested in hospitality or HRM is that you do have that those extra research opportunities that you might not have at other schools. So I think it's a cool opportunity. Not everybody is interested in doing research. You can definitely be more inclined toward getting that hands-on learning experience and taking internships and things like that. But all of that being said, I think we are, compared to a lot of schools like us, affordable. So our out-of-state tuition is $12,500 a semester. Now, if you were to be a student that got one of our out-of-state tuition fee waivers, then you would only pay our in-state tuition, which is $4,500 a semester. So the way that that works is if you get one of our academic excellence scholarships, those range from $1,000 to $6,000. If you were to get one of those scholarships, we would also offer you the chance to only pay our in-state tuition, in addition to the cash that you're getting from the scholarship. So in total, if you were to get the $1,000 scholarship, $9,000 a year for your tuition, less $1,000. That's about $8,000 a year. So you get a lot of bang for your buck at the University of Houston. And then, of course, compared to California, it is a little bit more affordable to live in the city of Houston. So all of these things kind of help keep the costs down. So the way that you will qualify for those opportunities, number one is if you are toward the top 25% of your class, around a 3.65 GPA, you're going to be a good candidate for that scholarship. And I really apologize that this slide has a mistake, so it's an older slide, but it says that apply for admissions by November 15th, which is our priority scholarship deadline. For fall 2020, our scholarship deadline will actually be November 1st. So all you need to do to be considered for this opportunity is apply by November 1st, and make sure that you get us your transcript, and if we ask you for them, your letters of rec, your personal statement, and your resume, all by November 1st, and then we'll automatically consider you for the scholarships, which will in turn can become the out-of-state tuition fee waiver as well. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to my colleague Jasmine, and I thank you guys so much for listening to me speak about hotel and restaurant management at the University of Houston. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Hi, do you want me to maybe continue with my presentation? Because I think we are still.
Yes, go ahead and continue with your presentation because we are being recorded.
Okay, perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine and I am the California counselor at the Swiss Education Group. I'm going to share my presentation with you. So the Swiss Education Group is a network of 4 of the leading hospitality, business, and culinary management schools in Switzerland. For students who haven't been to Switzerland before, we are a super small country in the heart of Western Europe. We're right between France, Germany, Austria, and Italy. When I say we're small, I mean that in the time it would take for you to drive from Santa Monica to Palm Springs, you would have traveled across all of Switzerland. So you have a ton of opportunities to travel on the weekends or during your term breaks. You are only about 2.5 hours by train away from Milan. So instead of heading over to San Diego for the weekend, you could just hop on a train to Italy or to France. Switzerland is also really well known for its safety and its stability. It's known for its healthcare and its high quality of life. So it's always at the top of the lists of best places to live or happiest places in the world. And it's also known for its chocolate, its cheese, and its hospitality. So this is actually where hospitality as we kind of know it today was born. Hundreds of years ago, the aristocracy and nobility all over Europe, they love to travel to Switzerland. And so the Swiss started building the first palace hotels, the first modern hotels, as well as codifying the systems of hospitality that are still in use to this day. And so thanks to this tradition, Swiss hospitality is still renowned worldwide. And our hospitality education is also really well known around the world. So if you go into the head office of many of the big hotel chains anywhere in the globe, you will find people there who were Swiss trained because of that tradition. So like I said, we are a network of 4 schools. Each of the schools has a different area of specialization, and I will go over each of these schools in a little more detail later. But I think the main thing to remember is that we aren't like most American schools in that we have dozens of majors to choose from. Hospitality, business, and culinary are the only programs we have. And so what that means is that all of the students at our schools are really passionate about pursuing a career in these fields. And all of the education is really geared towards preparing students for a successful career in hospitality, because we aren't just one small program within a much larger school. This is sort of our entire focus. So the Swiss Hotel Management School is a great option for students interested in hotel and event management as well as design. So this is the campus. It is one of the first 5-star hotels in Switzerland. It's called the Co Palace. And this hotel 100 years ago is where people like F. Scott Fitzgerald, the Rockefellers, princes, kings, maharajas, this was where they stayed when they went on vacation in Switzerland. So it's this beautiful palace up in the Swiss Alps. You can kind of see Lake Geneva over here. And this is where you'd study and where you would live. And so we are one of the top ranked hospitality schools in the world. And we're also the first hospitality school recognized as an Apple Distinguished School for our use of technology in the classroom. Like I mentioned, students are able to specialize in either international hospitality, events management, or design management for students who are interested in exploring interior design. And it's got excellent operational facilities because, again, it is at an former hotel. So you see here is one of our banquet halls. There are fine dining restaurants. We have an on-campus spa that is student run. And so you have a ton of opportunities to really put into practice everything you're learning in the classroom. So for example, our event students, they've thrown events that have been attended by people like, we had one for the ambassador from the Dominican Republic. We threw an event in honor of Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. And so because many of these events are real world events, I think students also take it a little more seriously. And I mean, there's no better way to learn and to know what standards you should hold yourself to than by throwing a real event for real occasions. Hotel Institute Montreux is a great fit for students who are interested in hospitality, but also business. So this school kind of combines Swiss hospitality and American style business. You're able to specialize in areas like finance or luxury brand management and marketing, or human capital and development, which is sort of like human resources. And with this school, we have a really close relationship with many of the leaders within the city of Montreux. So for example, we work very closely with the Montreux Jazz Festival, one of the premier jazz festivals in the world and the biggest one in Europe. And so our marketing students are always involved in sort of the marketing of the event, as well as, for example, we've done things like make logos for some of the wine bottles that are sold at the cafes around the world. Caesar Ritz Colleges is an excellent fit for students who are interested in international business, tourism, and entrepreneurship. So a lot of students are drawn to the school who are interested in opening up their own company after they graduate. In your final year, you would do a business plan project. And so this is over the course of 3 terms, and you would learn how to do a feasibility report, how to find financing, how to do market research, and hopefully the goal is for you to graduate with a business plan that you can take to the bank for financing. It shares a campus with our culinary program, so it's also a really good fit for students who are interested in culinary, but might not necessarily want to major in it. And so this school, we also partner with the Washington State University. All of the schools do have either American or UK university partners. And what that means is that you do graduate with a dual degree, a Swiss degree, as well as an American or a UK degree, depending on your program of study. With Culinary Arts Academy, what's unique about this school is that you can actually get a bachelor's or even a master's degree in culinary arts. So it is one of the top ranked culinary schools in the world. We're the only culinary school that was ranked by the QS rankings. And like I said, we're not just training students to become chefs, but hopefully to become chef entrepreneurs. So we teach you both skills to succeed in the kitchen and in the boardroom so that you are hopefully able to manage a restaurant or open up your own restaurant after graduation. We also offer shorter term programs. So for students who do want to focus more just on culinary skills, we offer 3 to 9 month short term courses in culinary arts, pastry and chocolate, and vegetarian culinary arts. And again, there is that shared campus with Caesar Ritz Colleges. And so there's a lot of really great interplay between the students, really great synergy. So every term we do a competition, a sort of cooking showdown where Culinary and hospitality students, they team up to create a dish, but the hospitality students have to do the cooking. Culinary students aren't allowed to actually do any cooking. They can only guide the hospitality students. So when the hospitality students throw events, it's always the culinary students who cater them. A lot of opportunities to get involved for students at both schools. And then in terms of our program, so because we are a Swiss school and not an American school in Switzerland, the program is going to be structured a little bit differently than maybe some of the other American schools you're looking into. So it is only 3 years for the bachelor's degree. And the reason it's shorter is because we don't require any general ed. You basically choose your program when you apply, and then you go directly into your major from your very first semester with us. Students also don't have to worry about impacted classes. We guarantee you'll get into all the classes you need to graduate on time. So in your first 2 years, you would be in school with us for the first half of the year. In the second half of the year, we send students out to put everything into practice in a real-world internship. So this internship is paid. It is also international, and it is mandatory. So all students are required to do both internships in order to graduate. So these are just some of the places where our students have done internships. Of the students in California that I've worked with in the past 2 years, I know students who have gone to Tokyo, Shanghai, Barcelona, Jamaica, St. Lucia. Some students have stayed in Switzerland, others have come back to the States. So there really are global opportunities available to our students. And obviously many of them do go to high-end hotels, but we also have students who intern at places like the UN. We've had students who intern in the hospitality department at the International Basketball Federation. We have students who work at big Swiss banks. And so there are a variety of industries that are available to students, but if students who do choose to go into hospitality or restaurant management, again, we do specialize more in luxury hospitality. So many of our students do end up at 4 or 5-star hotels. And every year we send students to Michelin star restaurants or restaurants that are ranked in the top 50 best restaurants in the world. Personally, one of my California students last year was at Kiki de Costa, which is a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Spain. So one way we're able to place all of our students in internships after just half a year with us is with the International Recruitment Forum. This is a hiring fair that we hold twice a year. That's gotten so big that we have it at the convention center because not all of the recruiters fit on campus. And so it's a 2-day event full of workshops and roundtable discussions, and also obviously lots of interviews for both internships and jobs after graduation. So it really is an amazing opportunity to access opportunities that may not be posted or may not be available to public, and also to network with decision makers and gain access to these opportunities worldwide. Okay, so after your 2 internships, you would come back to us for your 3rd and final year. This is 1 full year of study, at which point you would graduate with your dual bachelor. So you would receive a Swiss bachelor's from us, as well as an American or an English degree, depending on your program of study. So you graduate a year early, you already have a year of work experience, likely in 2 different countries. For students who are interested in pursuing a master's degree, they could do that in 1 additional year with us. So in 4 years, the time it would take for you to graduate from an American school, you could have a bachelor's and a master's, plus a year of work experience. So because hospitality is such a practical field, we really believe in learning by doing. We believe in experiential learning. And so in your first year, about half of your classes are actually hands-on, and that's to prepare you for that first internship. Classes are also very small, so you're looking at usually 15 to 25 students a class. If you're in the culinary program, it maxes out at 12 students in the kitchen because we don't want you sharing a workstation. We also partner with industry leaders, so these are just some of them, and so they come into the classroom for workshops, guest lectures, master classes. They offer students case studies and real-world projects. So for example, La Mer, the skincare company, they offered our luxury brand management students a project where they wanted to rebrand in China. And so our students, they were able to research it and pitch their ideas to some of the management there. With our culinary program, we have a very close relationship with Anton Moseman, who is a Swiss Michelin star chef. And so we host the Moseman Collection, which is sort of like a cross between a museum and a library. That's a collection of resources that he's gathered from his years in the industry, ranging from rare cookbooks to menus from his travels. And Anton Moseman, for those who don't know, he is one of the chefs for the British royal family. So he catered the wedding for Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge. He's also cooked for politicians, presidents, celebrities. He caters the Olympics. And so he also offers a ton of internship opportunities for our students, ranging from his private dining club in London to, he's taken students with him to some of the events he caters, like the Olympics. And so like I mentioned at the start, all our campuses are based in former hotels. And so you have the facilities to really put into practice everything you're learning. Our campuses, some of them are in more urban locations, others are in more suburban or alpine locations, but all of the schools are quite small. So there are 6,000 students across all 4 schools, making us the biggest English-speaking hospitality educator in Switzerland. But actually on campus, most of our campuses have from 6 to 300 students. So you really get that family atmosphere. You really get a lot of personalized attention. You kind of get to know everyone. But at the same time, you have access to the career opportunities and the network of a larger school. We are also super diverse. Most of our students are international, and American students, we are definitely the minority over there. So you're definitely going to make friends from all around the world. So after graduation, we hope that you'll be able to find work if we can place you in a paying internship after just half a year with us. But for us, it is about more than job placement. It's about fast tracking your career. So last year, 96% of our students did have at least one job offer upon graduation. But for us, what's more important is that 89% of our graduates are actually business owners, or they hold management positions just 5 years after they graduate. So because they graduate with a resume that looks very different than those of most recent college grads, our students are really able to set themselves apart and start climbing the career ladder a lot more quickly. So in terms of admissions, we look at your transcript, your resume. So we really want to see what work, volunteer, extracurriculars, leadership experience you have. But a huge component for us is your motivation letter. So that's an admissions essay where you kind of tell us, who you are, what you're passionate about, why you're interested in international study. There are so many things for us that could make you an amazing candidate for the hospitality industry that can't be distilled in just a number. And so we really do take a holistic look at admissions. We are test optional, and while we're not on Common App, we do have an online admissions, and we are currently accepting admissions now. We do use a rolling admissions process, although I do always recommend students apply around when you're applying for your American schools, because even after you go through our admissions process, you would still need to apply for a visa. So you want to make sure you're giving yourself plenty of time. So again, my name is Jasmine. I am the California counselor, and so please feel free to reach out to us either by email or social media or phone or text if you have any questions. I am here to help, and I work with all California students from answering their questions to guiding them through the admissions process, and then afterwards helping with visas or pre-arrival, all until you're safe and sound in Switzerland. Thank you so much for listening, and I will pass it to our facilitator.
Thank you.
I do have a little bit I could talk about the hospitality industry in general. I'm just not sure what would work for you.
If you have more information to share, you are more than welcome to.
Okay. So I'm happy to talk a little bit about the hospitality industry and kind of what kind of careers there are and what kind of students might be a good fit.
Definitely. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll share my screen. Okay, So I think a lot of students, like my colleague had mentioned earlier, a lot of students do think of what they see when they go on vacation. When you think of hospitality, so they think of, front desk, they think of housekeeping, they might think of banquets or, restaurants, but it is a much bigger field than that. Hospitality has a huge business component. So if students are interested in marketing or sales or finance, there are these departments within hotels. Outside of hotels, there is the entire tourism industry, which covers everything from theme parks like Disney or Six Flags to airlines, cruise ships, casinos. Outside of that, events management, like my colleague mentioned, is a huge aspect. So if you are interested in maybe putting on the Grammys or putting on festivals like Coachella, that is within the hospitality industry, or even something like game day presentation for sports teams. So if you wanted to do game day for Dodgers or the Lakers, that would fall under the umbrella of hospitality. There is a design aspect for more creative students, so interior design as well as luxury brand management. Within the culinary field, students might work in restaurants or as a chef, but we're seeing more and more students getting into food in media. So you might be the next Food Network star, or students might work as a food writer or critic or stylist. They might work in product development or in consulting. And then outside of hospitality, hospitality teaches students a lot of soft skills, things like how to give customers an amazing experience, how to work in an international team, how to think on your feet. And all of these skills are something that you can really take to almost any industry you end up going into. So while about 3/4 of our students do end up in the tourism industry, about 1/4 graduate and they end up doing something completely different. So they might end up in education or nonprofits or real estate or media, but they're able to take these soft skills with them wherever they go. And so hospitality as a field, it was one of the fastest growing fields in the world in 2019. And so we are quite optimistic about the future in hospitality because we feel like hospitality, it really lies at the heart of human values. So the desire to experience new things, to connect with people, to see the world, that really lies at the heart of what makes us human. And so we are hopeful that in a couple of years that it will recover from this current situation. And it's a great fit for students who are interested in learning by doing, who like to work with their hands, who are interested in traveling and seeing the world, and who want to meet people from diverse backgrounds. Almost all of the students I work with, they tell me that they are drawn to hospitality because they like to help people. And so it's a great fit for people who are interested in working with others and who find it rewarding to put a smile on someone's face. And it's also a really flexible career. You're never going to be doing the same thing twice. So it's a good fit for students who kind of want a career where they never know what the day holds and they don't want to be at a desk doing the same thing day after day. We do also have summer programs. So for students who are interested in hospitality but might not be able to commit to it because they haven't taken courses in it, they can come to Switzerland for 1 to 4 weeks just to take some courses, see Switzerland, and see whether that's something they can see themselves pursuing further. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm not sure if there's anything you'd like to add or if we're going to wrap this presentation up.
We are going to wrap it up. I'm just going to finish up with the final slide here. Just a reminder to, because this will be a recording, to go ahead and explore the other recordings that will be available for you to view other webinars. And thank you for joining us today. You have a good night. Thank you, everyone.